You know, it's astonishing how quickly children grow. What's more amazing to me is how, in such a short period of time, we had become monsters. Starlight, the stuff of nightmares. Damien's corpse still rested out there by the projection screen. He stays where he lays, that's what Lucky told us, and who was going to tell him no? Certainly not us, not the younger kids, but not even Amber, who had, by this time, matured into an attractive young lady. She was still the one we turned to for wisdom. She was still, for all intents and purposes, our matriarch. But even she knew not to cross Lucky. She was wise. She knew what was best for her. It had been 2 years since she and Lucky had first come to Starlight, and in that time Starlight had become a place best avoided by travelers. Those that strayed too near were quickly captured and dragged before our altar. Frankly, that was the rock that Lucky had brought back from the nearby quarry. There they were instructed to make a sacrifice that would benefit our community. If their offering did not meet with Lucky's satisfaction, then the traveler themselves became the sacrifice, tossed into a cauldron fueled by various flammable materials, surrounded by tires. Sometimes the tires would catch fire, and they would seemingly burn for days and never seem to melt. Those that resisted, they were memorialized only inasmuch as they were decapitated and their heads were affixed upon poles that surrounded the cauldron. Those that submitted, well, there was nothing left of them. Nothing at all. And before they had to make that decision, fight or submit, they were kept in a holding cell, one guarded by a man named Hefty, one of our newest members and easily our largest. He was an adult, but he thought a lot like us kids. Knowing what I know now, I guess he was slow. He resided in a bus, just next to the cell. He never made a pass at Amber, and I think that's one of the things Lucky liked so much about him. The other, of course, being Hefty's stature. He was pure muscle, capable of enforcing any rule that Lucky laid down. We were also joined by a man named Marshall, and just like Hefty, Marshall had no designs toward Amber. Come to think of it, he was rather effeminate himself. When Lucky first met him, Marshall was driving a tractor, that's right, a working tractor, and so we were all highly impressed. We invited him to join the group, and in fact we used that tractor to move around some of the cars that littered Starlight. Marshall could fix damn near anything. He got generators up and running again, and, ultimately we wanted him to get that projector working, but that never came to pass, sadly. And these weren't the only new faces. We were also joined by Sugar Bomb and Ruby. Ruby was a dog. She was what breed was she? Amber called her a damnation. An adorable breed. An adorable dog. What a sweet dog. And I liked her a lot. So did Amber. But I think her sweetness is what Lucky didn't like. She wasn't aggressive enough, so Lucky was downright cruel to her. And frankly, so too were the other dogs. Boxer, Topo, Scroungy. They wouldn't let Ruby anywhere near the food, or the shelter. I know. I dwell a lot on the relationship between the dogs, but they were my neighbors. Probably my closest friends, aside from Emma. Yes, I was still residing in that little nook next to the dogs. I can't help but think back on how much we'd evolved, and I don't know what to chalk it up to. Adolescent minds running rampant? Was it the fact that Marshall brought alcohol with him? Was it the chems? Whatever it was, Starlight changed us. Take Sugar Bomb, for instance. She ultimately became a fierce warrior, but when I first met her, she was a sweet little girl in a little pink dress, albeit with a mohawk. But boy, how she changed. Wolfgang, too. Wolfgang had befriended a woman at the Drumlin Diner nearby, a woman that we traded with. And, moreover, he was friends with her son. Boy, the mischief that they got into, that whole relationship would end in a very dark way. I don't know. I think back and I tell myself, and I know it's no excuse, that I had nothing to do with the killing. I was Green Thumb. I was the gardener. But I realize I was feeding, I was fueling the murderers. It never sat well with me, and a lot of nights I'd go to sleep wondering, what would I do if confronted with that cauldron? Would I fight or submit? I was never a fighter. There'd be nothing left of me.